Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for November 30th through December 6th, 2020. So before we begin, I'd just like to welcome everyone, and especially our new subscribers and anyone who's watching for the very first time. Just as a reminder, to remember to subscribe, to select the all notification bell so that you're aware of all the content when it comes up on the channel, and also to check the like if you like the video, so that helps with the algorithms for my channel and getting the information out there. Just to be aware for the month of December and some of the content on my channel, so I will be posting the monthly angel scope, which are 12 videos for each zodiac sign. And I know that some of you check several because of your astrological chart. So just be aware that I will be posting them in batches of probably 3 or 4 over the course of the week. So they won't come all out at once. Just be aware of that and be patient with that. And also the month of November is there, so you can check that out as well. Now, as far as my daily card messages that I write on my channel, I'll be posting them this week also. And if you're not aware of them, you can go to my YouTube channel, community posts, and you should be able to find them there, or you can find them on my Facebook page, and there's a description link below for Facebook and Twitter, where you will also be able to get access to the content that's posted here. Likewise, for the month of December, I am extending my $77 half-hour reading as a special offer for 1 full hour. So you would go to my website, theangelschool.com. That link is below as well. And you would select the half-hour reading for $77. And within 24 hours on the first business day of the week, not the weekend, I will send you a confirmation email. It will note that special offer, and there will be further instructions to set up the reading. Just be aware that there is a 2-week window in which you would be able to possibly receive a reading. So there could be something available sooner, but I will indicate which week to start sending your availability. So let's take a deep breath. And let's take another one together, collectively. And just being aware of your I am presence and affirming that connection. I am my I am presence. I am one with the I am presence of humanity. I am one with the I am presence of creation. I am one with our Father, Mother, God. And really center yourself in your heart space and feeling the enormous love that's flowing through this chakra. And it's connecting you into the entire network of oneness. And Archangel Zadkiel is coming through, as his name means the friends of God, and he wants us to send out that love, first of all, without even having to think about time and space or distance. Be aware that within your heart, the entire universe is connected and interconnected with you right within this chakra. And then you can imagine this great cosmic network and all these transmissions of wires, and it's lit up and everyone is receiving, so that every action has an immediate reaction. The cause and effect is happening right there. And just with the thought and desire to send love to everyone, the whole host of humanity, it is instantaneously done. And you are a recipient of what you give. So as you allow yourself to love within your heart, you feel this chakra expanding, you feel this network of oneness as you're sharing your intention of goodwill and prosperity and abundance. And they're showing me trees, beautiful, strong trees that some stand like great towers that almost act as a cell tower of connectivity, and some lean over and create beautiful shades and portals. And so there's something very intimate about this, the trees that I'm seeing. So it's showing our flexibility to be there for one another. There are ways that we are this symbolic representation for our highest aspirations. And there are these aspects of us that it's caring and nurturing and enveloping others. And there's those other aspects of us where we open doors for others to walk through, to heal. And it just keeps seeing these images repeatedly. And now I'm seeing the numbers 999. And the one thing I'm getting about these trees is this sense that you're stronger than you realize. You're stronger than you realize. And you may, in this week, start to really tap into this strength and this inner courage. And it just feels like it's all about opening up our lives to broaden the view, because the ego is always focused on it. I. And, we really, even in our society, we really, are trying to protect the individual. And the thing is that the way that we can really protect the individual is by collectively working together to protect each other. And some of you are going to be called in very specific and this just sounds out of context, but in ways that you may really have to step outside of your comfort zone and step up to be of service in this capacity, and yet this can also happen in ways that don't maybe draw much attention and recognition. But we can do this no matter what the scale of your assignment, your divine assignment. But the angel number 999 is the last number in this book. And let's see, I had to lock this because it says, this is a message signifying completion of an important chapter in your life. And now it's time to get to work without procrastination on your next life chapter. This number sequence is like an alarm clock ringing loudly in order to jolt you into working on your life purpose. Now, at the beginning of the year when we did the readings for the different quarters of the year, the one thing that they said that was really clear, and probably the only thing that was really mattered, is that this year was going to be a breakthrough year, but it was going to be a year in which the universe was going to use an obstacle course was going to be placed in front of us in order to provoke us, right? To provoke us to basically wake up and set ourselves free. The universe has made it possible, has created the frequencies for us to have easy access to this alignment and this liberation. But they cannot force us to do anything, but they can set it up. They can set up the course, the curriculum for us to achieve what we truly desire. And this achievement in this year has been not one for just the individual, but the collective. And when you work on your own personal ascension, you should always keep in mind that everything that you do, and this has always been now and before, even when we weren't aware of it, everything that we do for self, with the belief that we're doing it for self, because that really doesn't exist, it has always had an effect on everyone else, no matter the distance, time, or space. Literally. So you don't have to worry about past life situations. I'm just going to take this away for a moment. I'm going to put it back. Because, again, it doesn't matter time or space or distance. Everything that you are doing in this moment is having an enormous effect on all that has been, that is, and will ever be. So even for those of us who are aware of, ancestral healing or karmic debts and, contracts and all these things, everything that you do not only impacts your life, but the entirety of humanity and all life on the planet. So there's no catching up. And that is one of those things that we have to really be aware of, because I've often said, it's like sometimes we're chasing our own tail. And that's what you're really doing, because there is no catching up. You are where you need to be, and you are doing the work, no matter what perspective or that you're seeing it from. You're doing the work. Whether if you see yourself as failing, or you see yourself succeeding, or you see yourself somewhere in between, you're still doing the work. You're still impacting life. You're impacting oneness. Whatever you achieve or don't achieve is still adding enlightenment for the entire universe to study and absorb and transmute. There were some other things as I was reading this, that there's completion of an important chapter in your life, and now it's time to get to work without procrastination on your next life chapter. And be aware of decisions that you're confronting right now, especially the ones you're struggling with. And again, you're not struggling with them. You're not truly confused. You would not feel those things unless you were resisting them. Once you stop resisting, then that confusion, the anxiety will go away. Because we're afraid of making choices, because once we make a choice, we give birth to new opportunities. But instead of appreciating the ability to choose, we fear it. And what are we fearing is the responsibilities and letting go of certain things that we've become attached to, certain securities that we've been attached to. And when you really believe that it is only you that has to worry about surviving, then this makes your choices more challenging, because there is no real reward in that, especially because we are not separated, but we are all are the network of oneness. And what we do affects the entirety of all. And when we are truly inspired, it is usually because we see that call to service. As I'm seeing the word compassion. This brings out the finest qualities of our divinity. So, yes, you are still in this human experience, and you are going to focus on self. I'm not telling you that that's wrong. But what I want you to understand is through that you are not alone, and your efforts do not fall on deaf's ear. Like, there are many who will benefit, many, many, many. And everyone will benefit, but you will not see that. You will not be able to trace where it all goes, because that is beyond the finite capacity of our mind, but not for the infinite aspect of your divinity. You will witness a few or several or many within your surroundings. And it's always true whether it's negative or positive, but again, none of this matters, because everything is learned from. It all becomes enlightenment, which turns into wisdom. And everyone in the universe benefits. So this alarm clock, it said ringing loudly in order to jolt you. And it reminded me of that idea of this obstacle course to provoke you. And it's frightening because your ego wants you to protect yourself, and it wants you to maintain the security which you actually don't have. It kind of all of a sudden makes it look like you were just complaining, and I'm just being facetious, but but in a realistic way too. It's like, you were just complaining about something, and now it's perfect. These desires to want to improve is an aspect of that wheel of change. And we can't have the wheel of change and the kind of security that your ego wants, which would have you remain stagnant and unmoving, and would narrow the perspective and the scope of your life. So we're in a very powerful time of change. This breakthrough year was to stir it all up, to unhinge all of the pieces. So, right now it's like all the pieces went from being tightly held together, glued together. The best way to look at it, because that's the only kind of security your ego can do. It's broken but glued together. And then the universe comes in and scatters that, unglues those pieces so that they can find new ways of taking shape in a way that suits your purpose. So don't be afraid of the pieces flying everywhere. Don't be afraid of the chaos, because that's just the outer wheel of change spinning about. But pay attention from the core of your being to the pieces that you need to move you forward, and let go of the pieces that you don't need, the pieces that don't serve any longer. Okay, let's take a look at the Archangel message for this week. Archangel Zadkiel, teaching and learning. And the message on the card says, keep an open mind and learn new ideas. So right there is a mouthful, because in order to keep an open mind, you have to, first of all, embrace and accept what is. You may have heard me say this many times, but instead of saying constantly in reaction to everything that keeps happening, why me? Why? Ask yourself, why not? Why not you? Or why not that? Why not this? And once you do that, you turn off that fear reaction, and you turn that wisdom on. You turn on that creative genius of your imagination to start visualizing the scattered pieces. It's like puzzle pieces everywhere, and and they get to transform into a new vision. And then it says, then teach these ideas to others. So the thing is that whether you teach or it's through example, you getting to work on your life purpose, meaning find the meaning in what is right now. Because there is meaning, there is purpose, there is meaning to inspire you, to provoke you, to find your inspiration. And through example, you will teach this to others. You will teach and reveal the activation point of our collective ascension. and evolution, moving beyond the past, not wanting to make it great, make the old great again, but to build on what is coming anew through your awakened soul. Because that's what's going on right now. Your soul is awakened. And with this, everything has changed. And on purpose. Now we all need to embrace it, because otherwise what we're doing is procrastinating, worrying and wanting for things to be the way they were, to get back my life. I want my old job back. I want this back. I want this back. I want that back. And in all of that, you're not moving forward on the opportunities that are there, lying in front of you. You can't see them because vibrationally your mind is focused and tuned into a different frequency of loss and lack. But that doesn't mean that the universe isn't creating the prosperity, isn't creating the opportunities, the rewards. They're there. You can't see them because from the plane of cause within you, you're focused on a different type of reality. And that cause, that focus, is the cause of the effects that you are still seeing. Okay. Hope that's not too complicated. And let's take a look at the card for the beginning of the week. And we had this card at the end of last week. And we're back looking at, as I just said, those important decisions. And the idea is, again, this in the two's in alignment with the high priestess. So 2 is about polarities, about choice. Without the polarities, and this is what this appreciation is about, forming this appreciation for the ability to have free will that empowers you to create your reality by choosing, by voting. You know, this is what's so important. And when we learn to appreciate this, and understanding that without the polarities, I've said it to friends and so many times, you know, it's like if we only had hot or cold, then you wouldn't know what hot was, and you wouldn't even ask or think about the other potential degrees in between them. And this goes for everything in life. If there was only one flavor of ice cream, you know, if there were even the elements and the ingredients that make up certain things, like let's say ice cream, and if there wasn't this duality, this comparative reality, we would not have searched for those other components, and no less the combinations of mixing things in a certain way and getting so many different outcomes. We wouldn't be open to that. And why now should we stop being open to that? Just because we think we have, you know, the most advanced civilization, and, you know, we have reached our peak in terms of intelligence and knowledge and et cetera, and technology. That doesn't stop, as you can see, us from still finding more. And it's because of this continuous play with duality, the polarities, and at the heart of that is free will, the ability to choose. So as you enjoy this, it's not about, you know, sometimes people get stuck here because they feel like they're leaving something behind. If they make that choice, they're going to miss out on that one. And a lot of times your ego is really playing with you on that. Because it doesn't mean you may have to make the choice that's ready and available or the best one for you right now, but it doesn't say down the road that choice that choice might show up on that path. But the whole point is that no matter which road you take, there's infinite new choices available to you. There's new choices to look forward to. And that's what I mean by appreciate. And once you do that, you start seeing, you are on a different wavelength, and you start seeing that the rewards. All right, so the 10 of Wands. And this is, so you can see he's climbed, he's on that path. And here, this card usually talks about, he's climbed, he's walked on that path, he's climbing up this mountain, he's reached this part where it gets really rocky and uncomfortable. And he has choices here. He can unburden his load, sort of go, look and see what what's important to him. Maybe, sometimes we just accumulate and we don't really say, okay, this is what I need and I don't really need this anymore. I could find there's going to be something better along the way. And so, and asking for help when we reach a point where it's a little patchy. Sometimes people just don't want to make a decision because they don't want to deal with those kind of responsibilities. They don't want to get there because we hate not knowing what to do. And we hate feeling inadequate. And a lot of people, when they think that something like this might come up, and it's interesting how the ego points out something so far into the future. And then we just cave into that and sometimes give up. So quite often we get overwhelmed by an idea of responsibility or an obligation about a potential choice. That is why we get stuck at making the decision. And this is an illusion. These are messages from your ego, not your higher self. It comes with fear, and that should always be your indicator. It is shaping your perspective to be one of complete fear. Complete doubt. Because sometimes I feel like when I say the word fear, and some people go, I don't fear anything. But, okay, let's choose the word doubt. Don't underestimate that fear is a part of our human process, right? Again, it allows contrast. Polarities, fear, love, or fear, courage. If we don't have them, we don't understand the spectrum in between, which gives us more variety. And I'm saying the ability to empathize. And sometimes it's difficult for you to empathize with yourself when you let your ego make it seem like, oh, I don't have that problem. That's disassociating with something that is real for the human experience. I don't know, I'm saying like the word blasphemy is not like you're, I don't know, there's a sense like, oh, you've done something really wrong. Like you're not supposed to, women can do this too, but I'm just gonna say it, like macho is like macho, right? Yeah, I'm strong. I don't have problems like that. And it's like, if somebody suggested, it seems blasphemous to say it because it goes against your code, or how you were raised, etc. All right, and so now we reach this point where we have the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands is this place of contentment. So, I feel like what happens is if you pay attention to this process, if you are open to the appreciation of choice, knowing that you have free will and choice will always be granted to you. Nobody can take that away from you unless you fear making the choice. And to break it apart, when you start to feel overwhelmed, you start to feel a lot of anxiety, don't keep moving along. Stop right there. And if it feels rocky, then there's a reason, because that's a way to get in touch with your higher self. And you can use the contrast, the negative emotion, to get in touch with your higher self, because once you feel confusion or fear or, some kind of rocky unsteadiness, then that is saying that what you're focused upon or how you're focused upon it, it doesn't necessarily mean right away that what you're doing or the thing that you're going for is wrong, but how you're going about it is. In this case, you're doing too much and you're focusing, putting more emphasis on certain things than others. And you need to unburden your load. Like many times I find myself, I'll give this example many times over because I find it astonishing that I still can't, I'm figuring it out more and more, but I still will start off with this trap. And that'll be like there's all these tasks, and all of a sudden more tasks will come. And I'll really believe like I got to get it done in that day. My mind has convinced me until I realize, the stress and this sense of, wow, this is like, I'm running out of time. I'm never going to get this done. That thing, I really need to do that. And then all of a sudden something will say, and it's always like groceries, for example. I don't know what the things about groceries and running out of groceries for me. I don't know what it is because I go every week at the same time. But my mind makes a big deal out of it every week. And it'll be like, oh, I don't feel like going today. I need to go. And then all of a sudden I'll realize, but I have enough for at least 2-3 more days. But my mind has convinced me I'm running out. I've run out today. And that's that kind of thing. And what I'm saying is you need to take that moment to listen to that feedback of your anxiety and then do something about it by getting clarity. So when I go to the refrigerator and look, that's when I get the clarity. And it's like, okay, you can wait till tomorrow or 2 days if I need. And then all the things that I really need to get done, that list isn't even that big. And then I find myself being able to relax for the rest of the day. And I can accept that I can relax. So just something to think about, that you have to keep tuning in. You have to keep tuning into that stability. We see this home here. We see this, fire, and it's that sort of the hearth, the heart of the home. You have to connect in with that inner peace, that inner well-beingness. And when you do it for yourself, especially an example of this being a home or some kind of community gathering, when you have that center of peace and you keep your responsibilities in check, then in the mind, then everyone else around you benefits from it because they feel it. And that's how you teach through example, and you learn from these little examples in your life. So although I may have that thing happen, but I don't spend much time, because now I keep catching it. I keep being more aware of what's going on, and I keep becoming even more aware of this thing where I need to go check to make sure that is what it is. And so I don't spend a whole day fighting, chasing my own tail, so to speak. All right, so let's take a look at the card. And this really confirms the angel number message, the world card I'm pulling from the bottom of the deck. So this is sort of a celebration. This is saying, well done, right? that you've really accomplished something, that you've come full circle, and that you're ready for this new start. And this is what made the choice might be, because many people, when they have completed something, they're attached to what to the past. It's like, it's like, I'll never forget when I graduated from my undergraduate school, because I loved the Eastman School of Music. It was, I don't know, I was just way too in love with that place. And I didn't think that they were going to ask me to leave, like on the same day that everybody else is supposed to leave. I don't know how I had it in my mind. I didn't want to go. And I thought, I'll pack up the next, I'll get out by the end of the week. And they were like, no, you have to go today. And I wasn't ready to go. And it's that thing, when we finally, when all the signals are clear, you've graduated from this lesson, that you're done with this relationship, or you're done with this situation, or this job that has, turned belly up. It's for a reason. You're ready to move on to something better. You're not ready to hear that. And you're getting stuck there. And that's because you're not ready to make new decisions. And you won't let go of all of the baggage that you're carrying. Because it's very hard for us to believe that happiness really exists, that we can have these moments of peace and contentment. And it's in the midst of that new decision, that new opportunity, that new choice is where you find that true peace. The security that your ego is trying to put out there is that if you maintain what you got, you'll know what you have, and then that means peace. No, the only peace in a world that is about change, and it can't stop doing that. And we didn't come here to sit. We came here to evolve. And so in that sense, the only peace you can find is in that ability to choose, and that is to say, move with the change by choosing, by making choices, by embracing and appreciating them, and looking forward to what will come. So this is the lesson. This is the activity of light for you in this week, is, again, and they mentioned it last week, embracing the most powerful gift of life, which is choosing where you'll go next, knowing when you've completed, and being able to say, well done, and just borrow something my grandmother used to say, a little biblical, but they would always say, well done, my good and faithful servant. And I forget the rest of it, but many of you may know it. But it's that kind of moment, right? And there's something else that we used to say, because in my family, we were very, I don't know what it is, but when it's time to leave, we have such a good time laughing. All kinds of things happen, good and bad. But, it's a lot of laughter, a lot of love, a lot of storytelling. It could be 3 days. We stay all in the same place. We sleep wherever we can, because the hotel's just not an option, because we love being together. And then when it's time to leave, my grandparents would always say, all good things must come to an end. And the sadness that would fill all of our hearts, my aunts and, my cousins, I mean, no matter how old you were, everybody was sad. No matter how young you were, everybody was sad. And we're afraid to move on. We're afraid to move apart. But we had to go out into the world. And that phrase kind of prepared us, because we had to move on to the next stage. And so think about in this week, how often are you afraid to move on? The sadness. How often do you grieve moving on, then celebrating? And it's not bad, because in that grieving, when we had to leave, when they said that, I knew it's because we loved them. And in that moment, I also recognized how much more I loved every one of them. And that's beautiful. But it also means that if we stay too long, it could turn really sour, because that's just about with anything in life, right? There's a time for everything. And so the time that 999 is saying, it's time. The alarm clock is going off. It's time for you to get up and start this new beginning. So I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and look forward to having this opportunity to meet again, okay? And to connect and really move through this together, because I do not know more than you. I only know what comes through this in this moment, and I am hearing it with you at the exact same moment in the exact same way. It does really sound like but that's just because I'm channeling all of your wisdom from your higher self. But otherwise, I am piecing it together too. And so hopefully that we grow, each one of us, enormously, because we gather together here. So have a beautiful week and a beautiful month of December, and God bless you.